The story begins with 5 ancient goddesses who glorify the hero Hercules by recounting his feats in song. But for now, we must go back to when Hercules was born. And he was born on the famous Olympus, in the family of Zeus and Hera. All the gods and goddesses gathered to see the stellar newborn, and some, like Hermes, did not come empty-handed. While Zeus proudly talks about his son, the boy pulls lightning bolts out of his pocket, racking up his first bumps. The happy father gives his Hera a gift for this, a tiny Pegasus, who is to become the little god's first course. Hades stops by for a few minutes to look at his nephew, but even that was enough to spoil the mood of those gathered. Back in hell, Hades summons his minions, Pain and Panic, who inform the god of death that the old witch goddesses have come to see him. All Hades cares about is whether he can finally take the main throne on Olympus. The old women promise that after 18 years, on the night of the Parade of the Planets, Hades will certainly become the president with the help of the evil Titans. Only Hercules will defeat him, and the god of death will not rejoice for long. Hades understands that he has only one chance to get his own, to make his nephew mortal and get rid of him, and that very night his henchmen kidnap Hercules. The plan of Pain and Panic fails. While they are trying to get the boy drunk with a potion, he is found by kind passers, by who have been begging the gods for years for the child. Zeus sends a chase, but it proved too late. The boy managed to drink the first potion and became mortal. Fortunately, he managed to retain his power, and Zeus had to accept the fact that his son now lived on Earth. So Hercules began to grow up in a family of ordinary peasants and do simple earthly things. The old father dotes on his strongman's son, unlike the locals, who flee from Hercules like fire. Even the local boys do not want to take the young god into the game. The boy was too strong for mere mortals. And now, having decided to catch a plate, the god demolishes a column, because of which the whole city falls at once. This time, the citizens finally lose their temper. They think Hercules is too dangerous. Feeling like an outcast, the guy goes to a cliff and, looking at the sea, sings a song about his whole life dreaming of another life. When Hercules returns home, his parents reveal to him the truth that they found him as a baby. The old men give their son the medallion that was with him, and Hercules decides to go to the temple of Zeus to learn the truth about his origins. Also with a song, the boy sets off, hugging his parents goodbye. Not everywhere his path proves easy, but eventually he makes it to the temple and hopes that here he will finally find his place. Hercules kneels before the statue of Zeus and begins to ask for his help. Unexpectedly, quickly the stone god comes to life and extends his hand to his son, but the boy clearly did not expect such a warm welcome. Zeus tells Hercules the truth and admits that he and Hera love him with all their hearts, but they cannot take him to Olympus. Only gods can live there, and because of Hades, the boy has long ago become mortal. But it is possible to fix it, for this guy has to become a hero, and then he can return to Olympus. He must begin his return by searching for Philoctetes, the tutor of the heroes, and to make his son less lonely, Zeus sends Pegasus, who has longed for his master, to him. Pegasus brings Hercules to a strange place, but it is there that they find the stater they need. Philoctetes enjoys telling his guest about the heroes he has managed to raise, including Achilles, who was his unfulfilled dream. To this, the lad offers his candidacy to Satyr. He will make a hero out of him and get what he wants, and Hercules himself will finally get home. Singing songs, Philoctetes agrees to train Zeus' son, regularly measuring how his muscles are growing. Satyr does not really believe in the boy's kinship with the gods of Olympus, but he nevertheless hopes to raise his handsome hero. After training, Philoctetes goes with his ward to the city of high crime, and Hercules immediately rushes to save the beauty in distress. But the youthful fever fails the hero and gets into a lot of trouble, though he comes out of the fight victorious. Hercules gathers up courage and gets acquainted with Meg, whom the young man falls in love with at first sight. But the satyr hurries to continue on his way, and the company does not see how the beautiful girl discusses her business with Hades. On finding out that the son of Zeus is alive, the god of the underworld is enraged. Once he calms down, he thinks how to solve the problem. Satyr and Hercules arrive in Thebes, a large criminal city in which the boy must gain experience. The inhabitants don't greet the hero very warmly, especially after they find out who trained him. But unexpectedly, Meg arrives in town and asks Hercules to rescue 2 boys who are trapped in a ravine. Jumping on Pegasus and picking up his girlfriend, a hero flies to the specified place and saves the guys, and not realizing that it is Pain and Panic. They lured Hercules here by the order of Hades. Suddenly, Hydra appears from the darkness, and at first sight, it seems that it can overcome the son of Zeus, but Hercules strips the snake from inside, leaving only a wet spot. Hades does not give up and sends his other creatures, but Hercules copes with them as well, becoming a true hero to the citizens gathered around. The goddesses of the arts again sing a song about how popular Hercules has become and how Hades' plans began to crumble one by one. None of his creatures could defeat the hero, who at this time was already drowning in fame and money. Hades understands that he has one day before the parade of the planets, otherwise all his plans will collapse, and then he gets an idea. The villain remembers that the guy fell in love with a beautiful girl and he offers Meg a deal. She helps to get rid of the hero by finding out his weak spot, and the god of the Dark Kingdom gives her freedom for this. Hercules comes to Zeus and tells him about his feats, but the old man disappoints his son. All this is not enough to return to Olympus, and you need to prove yourself in real, not just become a superstar. Meg comes to Rapal's house just as he's hiding from the groupies behind the curtain and suggests he run off on a date in secret from Phil. The pair stroll under the stars, telling each other funny life stories, but all the while Meg is trying to find out the information she needs. Satyr takes his ward away to begin his duties as heroes, while Meg is left singing love songs, and the girl seems to realize that Hercules' only weakness is her. The girl refuses to work further with Hades, but he reminds her of the terms, and the conspirators' conversation is heard by Philoctetes. The instructor tries to tell everything to the boy, but Hercules is so in the clouds that he cannot hear anything, and does not even notice how his faithful Pegasus is kidnapped by pain and panic. Finally, Saturn manages to speak out, but Hercules won't listen to anything and chases the old man away. At this time, Hades comes to the guy and showing him Meg tied up, he offers the guy a deal. The villain is willing to let the girl go, but for that the guy gives up his superpowers for just one day. The guy agrees without hesitation and shakes Hades' hand, immediately falling to the ground without strength. The villain lets Meg go as promised, but he doesn't forget to reveal the truth to Hercules and says that the girl has been working for him all along and to have the two boys from the Gorge. Hades releases the Titans, with which he plans to overthrow Zeus. Hermes manages to warn his superior, and the chief god declares an alarm, gathering all his friends. While most of the Titans attack Olympus, the giant Cyclops ravages the city, summoning Hercules to fight. The townspeople rejoice to see the boy, but none of them realize that he no longer has the strength to defeat the giant. Meg saves Pegasus and flies after Phil, hoping that he will stop the apprentice from acting rashly. In the meantime, Hades and his accomplices have already infiltrated Olympus. When Satyr flies in to help Hercules, the lad doesn't look good anymore. But his mentor cheers him up and promises to help him win even without superpowers. Hercules pushes the monster off a cliff, but almost gets himself under a giant pillar. The guy is saved by his friend Meg, who pays for it with her life. This gives the hero his powers back. The deal is off because of Meg's injury. Hades locks up all the gods and floods Olympus with fiery lava, seated on his throne. The villain does not expect to see his nephew at all, but Hercules shows up and frees the gods, expecting to still fight. The Titans try to drive the hero away by pouring lava or ice over him, but it's all for nothing. Hercules gets to his father as well. Catching a giant tornado, Hercules sucks the evil Titans into it and sends them away from the earth. But Hades isn't ready to let the guy get away with it, and as he flies away, he promises to get his revenge through Meg. Hercules doesn't have time to help her. He arrives just as the girl's lifeline is cut in Hades' realm and she stops breathing. The hero goes down into hell and demands that Hades let the beautiful girl go, and for the sake of it, the boy even agrees to leave his soul there. The villain likes this option and orders the old women to cut the thread, but it turns out to be unbreakable. Hercules somehow managed to regain his immortality and save Meg. Out of spite, the boy sends his uncle into the Lake of Souls, where he's immediately greeted by everyone he once sent there. Hercules brings Meg's soul back into his body, and on a cloud they ascend to Olympus, where they are greeted by the gods. Finally, the boy manages to hug his parents, but he doesn't want to stay up there. His dream is now to return to Earth to spend his life with the girl he saved.